Hey y'all, it's Lauren Black with Country Now, and we are here backstage at the ACMs, and we are literally backstage because we can hear Miranda Lambert rehearsing behind us. So the excitement is building for the ACM Awards, and how does it feel to be here?
Good. Yeah, I'm about to text her and tell her to keep it down because I can barely hear. No, it's awesome to be here. You know, I mean, even like Miranda, it's fun to be here. We get to see all our friends. We're all on the road all year. We don't get to see each other much, so this is a time. It's like a reunion.
Yeah, that's what everybody always says.
Yeah.
Have you ran into anybody yet today? Like, we've had a few artists come through already, so.
Yeah, no, we just got here, so this is the beginning of our reunion.
Okay, did you guys have travel problems? Because I heard yesterday.
Yes.
So how did you wind up here? Did you have to take like 3 planes, trains?
Yeah, we wound up here on several different planes from each other. Our bags were on a different plane than we were.
We got separated. We ended up in different cities at different times and got
Okay, but you came together here in Frisco.
Yes.
And your clothes made it. You're all looking spiffy.
Yep.
Spiffy today. Okay, so earlier this year, your album came out, and it was long awaited for this project. So can you talk about releasing it and finally having it out into the world?
Yeah, our debut album, our #1 debut album, 2018, and we decided to follow it up 7 years later.
7 years. Lucky 7.
Our sophomore album. We were just really nervous about a sophomore slump. No, we put out this album, and it's called We're Gonna Make It, and it really, it's our whole life is on there. We've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and we try to put it all on this record, and what we found is putting it out that our fans, they've also gone through a lot of the same stuff we have in life, and it's all on there.
Okay. Is there a particular track that you were like hanging on to for years? Like, I always find it funny when like artists will say like, this song has been around for 7 years or whatever. Is there any track that you were like really itching to get out that finally saw the light of day?
Yeah, I think Low Class Lovers is one that's on there that was one of the first songs like written for the album. And I didn't know, and it had been so long, I didn't know if it was going to make the album because honestly, if you're writing an album by the end of the process, sometimes you can get bored of the early ones. But that's on there, and it's funny because that's the first, and then the last song called We Grew Up Together. That was just such a fun experience. It was the last song we wrote for that album, and now it's our single that we're out.
Yeah, the album was technically done when we wrote that song, and we wrote it like, oh, this is really good.
Okay, so it was like
we got to kick another song off the album, and now it's going to radio, and it's funny how that works out.
And it's the title track.
Yeah.
So tell me about that song. It's at radio. What is the story behind it? Like, why did you feel it was so important to add at the last minute?
Yeah, I mean, we're buddies with a guy named Corey Asbury, who's an artist, and we texted him to write. Like, the album was kind of done, and we couldn't really find anything. And then that day, we were just talking about we've all had kids since our first album, and he's our age but has like a teenager, and so he started earlier than us. And he said, we kind of grew up together, and so we're like, okay, we got to write We Grew Up Together, and so. Putting it out, it's been fun because a lot of people know us from Greatest Love Story, and a lot of people that attached to that song years ago now are in this phase of life that we're in, which is, you realize when you have a kid, as they're growing up, you got some growing up to do too, and it's this journey that you're on together, and so it's been really special to give it to our fans.
Yeah, that's so important. As a parent myself, I can definitely relate. So talk to me about touring. What is your touring looking like right now heading into the summer? I know it's festival season, so where are y'all going to be at?
Oh man, I think we're going to be everywhere. We just finished up like a headlining tour pretty much throughout the whole country, and so now, like you said, we're running into festival and fair season, and I don't really know.
You just do what they tell you day by day.
We are literally everywhere.
Okay.
Literally from I think in June, we go from Washington, D.C. to California.
Oh, cross country.
In the same weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tuesday out,
Yeah, I always wonder because like at these things, like we were here all day yesterday, and instead of like going out to the fun things, like I came back and like went to bed, and I'm like, I don't know how artists do it. Like, how do you like wake up every day, put a smile on your face? Like, what keeps you going?
Stay hydrated, drink water. But then also I will say, it's a fast life, and it's, again, there's travel, there's all these things, but really artists, we get to live the dream. We get to play our songs and impact people and write and sing, and so it's an absolute dream. And every now and then you do have to take a step back and realize what you're doing it for, and it really is when you play shows, you see the fans out there. That's what it's all about.
We also get to go home and don't really have to do anything for a couple of days once you get home.
So you go hard, then you can just rest for a few days, and then I like that. All right. Well, before we head out, your ACM Award winners, already 2019, right? Yeah. So coming to the show, like what do you have memories of that year? Like your first year, you won. Do you have like a specific memory?
I mean, honestly, that whole year, at that point in your career, when you're on the climb, you're everywhere all the time. And I remember, so honestly, you miss a lot of things just because you're just on the grind. And that winning the ACM and being there that night was kind of a time where I was forced to be like, oh wow, this is really happening. Dreams are coming true. It was amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Any memories?
No, absolutely. I mean, I remember holding the trophy, and it's I grew up watching the ACMs, and just even to be in the building, like I used to work concessions at an arena, and seeing like award shows and that stuff, and being like, oh, that's just being happy to be there, and then actually winning one. I remember holding it and looking at it, and it was this like dramatic movie moment where you go through your whole life, and I was like, oh, I have
surreal.
I'm one of those people now. I'm like holding it up. Yeah, they are heavy. I also remember that. I remember being like, oh man, I need to work out more, or this is really heavy.
Awesome. Well, it was so good to catch up, and hopefully we'll see you on the road at all those fairs and festivals and all the fun stuff.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good.